Beverages with Brad.
Welcome to Beverages with Brad. I am here with my guest, Sam Buck, from the Bucked Up Podcast. I almost just grabbed you up here for some reason.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. We have special guest producer Shamil behind the camera, and recently did the Bucked Up Podcast, and I had such a good time that I figured I'd have you on my show. And I will warn you, though, I will not cry on my show.
Okay.
You cried a little bit when I did your show. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to cry. I hope you don't think it's going to be
Did you get shit on for me crying on my own show?
No, I did not. I actually got some very nice compliments about that. So, when did you start the podcast?
I started the podcast 9 months. The first episode was released June 18th of last year.
Okay. So you started...
After the pandemic.
Oh, you started during the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's a great time to start a podcast. Did you have to do them on Zoom and shit for a while?
No, actually. When I first started, it was all in person. And then my producers moved to New York. And then I was like, shit, I don't have a podcast studio. I guess I'll move to Zoom. And that's when I started reaching out to rappers.
Zoom shows are the absolute worst. They're fucking terrible.
I like talking to rappers over Zoom because
they intimidate you in person?
Yeah, so then I don't have to have the awkward face-to-face meeting.
You don't want to give them daps and fuck it up?
Because if I fuck up a dap, then the podcast is over. The interview's done.
You see, you feel safer and more comfortable doing an interview over Zoom.
That sounds a little racist.
You're afraid they're gonna they're afraid they're gonna shank you if they don't like one of your questions. They're like, "What's that, Whitey?" And they pull out a shiv. Is a shiv the right word? Shamil, you would know. Is it a shiv that you a shank?
A shank.
I thought you shanked somebody with a shiv. What's a prison-made knife called? Hey, we're at the Pub on Park. Most of these people
You use a toothbrush that you carve, but over Zoom, I'm surprised that no one's hung up on me. I feel like I'm gonna ask a wrong question, and
you'll be like, "That's it." You went over the line. You're a very offensive guy, Sam Buck. As you could probably tell from the looks of Sam Buck, he's a huge hip hop fan. He loves rap music. I'm sure that was obvious. And we talked a little bit about this before, but about some of your favorite rappers. I would like to know, though, are you, if you had to pick, Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, Biggie 100%. I don't like Tupac.
That is so incorrect.
I don't like Tupac.
We're already off on the wrong foot here.
Are you going to hang up the Zoom call?
I'm hanging up the Zoom. I'm pulling out my prison knife right now.
You're going to Tupac is from New York.
He's so much better.
New York. And he pretends to be the king of Cali.
Well, he did become the king of Cali, but I do like that he's from New York, and I actually like a lot of his New York-produced music. Because I will say this, I generally speaking, I do like the New York and the East Coast sound better. But I think Tupac's so big that he kind of goes beyond the whole East-West Coast sound. He has such a wide catalog of music. He covers way more in his lyrics than Biggie. He's got way more good songs than Biggie. Biggie's crazy good voice. Like when Biggie gets on the mic, it's like, holy shit, this guy's intense. So he's got a good style and everything, but Tupac produced so many good songs and hit such a wide variety of topics. I just think he's just overall better lyricist. But Biggie does have that fucking voice and that presence that just hits you in the face as soon as he starts rapping.
I feel like Tupac is more you're right, a wide variety, maybe easier to be accessible to people.
It depends on what you grab.
Exactly.
Maybe not hit him up, but if you grab Dear Mama, maybe it depends on what you pick.
What's that song? What's his most popular?
It's hard to say. It's got a lot of California Love.
Yeah, I hate that song.
Look, I don't even want to disagree with you. That song isn't very good.
Yeah.
And the most annoying part about that song is it's about 40 minutes long with 2 wicked short verses, right?
He's just naming every city.
But Tupac's verse is the only thing good about that song. His verse is very good in it, even though it's about 12 seconds long on a 14-minute song. All we're talking about is Tupac. Welcome to the Tupac Show. We are 2 experts in hip-hop.
I am a serious rap interviewer, Brad.
Yeah,
No,
obviously. All right, so that's disagreement one. I had another rap question now.
But
and
I do
that
want
really
to say
threw me
that
off.
Biggie,
Oh, sorry, go
I want to
ahead.
finish
So,
that.
yeah,
The reason
sure.
that I think Biggie is better, though, is because he sticks to the roots, and it is like he made the music he wanted to make.
Okay.
And maybe, I don't know, I feel like Tupac didn't sell out, but a little bit of sold out. Like the same way that there's still Drake songs I like, but I don't like Drake because he's
I don't
like
like Drake
a
at
pop.
all.
He's like a pop artist. And Tupac, especially by the end, I felt like
You felt like a guy who literally
cool,
died
though,
in
and it's
gunfights
cool,
as a
like,
pop artist.
yeah.
You thought he was too pop. He's like literally shooting people. Like,
But it's
I don't know
like,
how much of a sellout you are when you're literally out in like gunfights every day.
I guess that's true. It is the funny though. Like I've heard stories that I feel like legally I can't tell from like big named rappers doing that today, but it's all like secret. You know
What,
I mean?
secret gunfights?
Yeah.
Shamil, are you take part in any secret gunfights?
Shamil and I actually got in a gunfight. That was he was late. He had to go change.
Yeah,
real
you
quick.
gotta do what you gotta do. And here I feel like I'm about to contradict myself, but whatever. If you had to pick Nas or Jay-Z,
Ooh, that's a tough one. I guess I'd say Nas.
hey, we're back on the same page.
I guess
don't-
I'd say Nas, but I feel like Jay-Z is more influential.
See, I feel like I kind of contradicted myself because my whole thing with Tupac is like the bigger catalog, and I feel like, I don't know, Nas doesn't have a lot of great albums, but I do like Nas better. I think Illmatic by itself is better than anything Jay-Z's ever done.
Yeah, he has a problem where his first album's so good that he can never really like live up to it.
That's
you
my
know?
problem. My first episode of Beverages with Brad was so good.
Who was your guest?
My friend Doug, and it wasn't
Yeah,
called.
Doug, I bet is.
It
real
was
great.
called. It wasn't called Beverages with Brad. We had no idea. We just sat in a coffee shop and talked about absolutely nothing for about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I was like, oh, it's probably the last time I'll do that.
And then you're here.
What has been your who has been your favorite guest you've had on your podcast?
Ooh, that's there's a rapper, Big Mont, out in New York, who was the first rapper to like not producer, like real rapper to agree to be on, and I met him in person, and we just like hit it off and became friends.
And you didn't fuck up the daps at the
I
beginning?
didn't. No, you could if you watch any of my podcasts with rappers. The first 10-15 minutes is them like sizing me up. And then they'll finally
Like,
be
what is
like,
with this kid?
And then they'll finally be like, oh, he actually is like.
Are they
knows what
afraid
he's
you're going to
talking
be like,
about.
what's that show, the fake show with Bo Rat there that he used to do? What's the fake
Ali
show?
G?
Yeah, but they're afraid
there
this
were-
is like, is this like, this guy's
Exactly,
just fucking
but
with
it
me?
always, or I like Wise P, because he won a Grammy for working with Jay-Z and is an actual pimp, like went to prison for pimping.
For pimping.
So I think that's a cool guess too.
What do you think your pimp name would be if you were a pimp?
Big Bucks.
How about a rap name? Same thing?
No, my rap name would be Ill Feral.
Have you ever written any rap?
I used to write every middle class white kid always writes raps, but I never like took it. I had friends who took it seriously, but comedy was my thing.
Yeah.
That's why I like having a self-help podcast with rappers on it, not like a rap podcast.
Not a rap
'Cause I don't want
podcast.
to be like I know I'm not a rap guy, so I don't want to be a
Surprise,
poser.
surprise, viewers. He is not a rapper. We're going to change channels completely right now because you said something on our last conversation that I wanted to revisit. And I just burped from beer. I wanted to revisit. You said that you felt like growing up, your life was very controlled. I know this is a very big, weird change from
no
rapping
problem.
to that, but I wanted to revisit that while it's fresh in my head. What did you mean? Like, who was controlling your life? Why did you feel that way?
So like when I was growing up, my mom controlled my life in a way that was probably like emotional abuse. Like
Why do you
when
think that is? Is she a paranoid mom? Like, I don't want him to
Yeah,
go outside.
so-
He might get hit. He might get hurt, or he might.
Not even that. Like she allowed. So I am dyslexic, and
Okay.
I went to private school because my mom's a teacher.
Okay.
So I think she didn't want to have like a dumb kid. So she would like force herself to do my work and then like tell me that I wasn't good enough to do my own work.
Holy shit.
So then she would like hold it against me that she was doing my work.
So she raised you and made you feel like, hey, she put it in your face that she's smarter than you? That's what it sounded like you just said.
It was kind of like I'm too dumb to be able to do it. So I had like an actual phobia of writing. Like I would.
So she literally made you feel dumb as a kid?
Yeah, like literally up until
Holy
when I was
shit.
like a junior, senior.
Was a single parent? Or was your dad in the picture?
My dad was in the picture, but only like every other weekend I'd see him, you know, like. But yeah, it was. But then I got into creative writing. I wrote a full-length play in college.
Was that like your middle finger to her?
Yeah, my school.
Like,
put
oh, I
it
can't
on.
write. Check this shit out.
For real, my school put it on, like funded it, and then I was like, oh, I can write. And then it was tough getting into stand-up, having like a phobia of writing. Like I'd sit down
because
with a
of
pen
her.
and paper, and I'd have like, be like, I can't write, and I'd have like panic attacks and shit.
What's your relationship like with her now?
Really good now.
What Paige? You guys go to counseling or something?
No, I confronted all my like. I felt like if I needed to be successful in life, I had to confront the problems that I was holding, that I felt like were holding me back. So like I confronted all the people that I had issues with in a nice way.
So you confronted her about it?
Yeah, yeah.
And she took it okay?
Yeah, it took a little bit, but we now have the best relationship we have in a while. And I think you should confront people, but not in a way of making them feel bad, but just like, listen, this affected me in a certain way, and I want you to know that I'm okay with it, but I want to tell you that I knew it was a thing.
Was that hard for you? Because you seem like a very nice guy. You don't seem like the kind of guy who's like confrontational.
Yeah, I have a
Was that tough for you to be like, hey, we got to sit down and talk about this? Were you like nervous as shit?
Yeah, because I get like angry when I get nervous. Like when I feel like scared and small, I'll, like lash out. So I had to get to a place where I wouldn't be angry. You know, like I wouldn't, like if she said something, I wouldn't get defensive. I had to be like, Tom Segura actually has a bit, I saw him do it live. He never put on any specials about just like, or maybe put about just like, no matter what your parents say, just like accepting it and just being like, you can't fight with them because you're not going to change their minds.
Right.
And so I just was like, all right, that's how the mentality I'm going to take.
Okay.
And I love this song playing during the
This is I asked the DJ to put this. I said, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna jump into deep emotional shit with parents and children. Can you play this shit?
Can you play Party Rock Anthem?
Now, when we get to one of your dead relatives, we'll have them play "I'm Sexy and I Know It." If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
If I could have any superpower, I would really want teleportation. I've thought about this a lot, and teleportation, it's better than flight, it's better than, and think about it as a stand-up, being able to teleport
When you're
anywhere.
bombing, you just fucking bounce and you end up at the...
Yeah, or you can hit 100 mics in a night. You just
like boom, boom, boom.
all over the world. Yeah, but teleportation. Teleport into a
Teleportation
bank,
would scare me.
take some money, teleport out, you're good.
Teleportation scares me a little bit. I feel like I'd fuck it up and I would like accidentally put myself in a brick wall or something.
Like inside one,
yeah,
like
and
you
then
look
I'm like,
Han
oh, there you go,
Solo.
I'm dead. Or I teleport, I land off a bridge, I don't teleport out of the way fast.
Yeah,
I don't know,
do you
it
think
scares
you
me a
need
little
to
bit.
know the exact coordinates?
Someone told me about, was it Al who said that you have to actually have been there? I think Al Christakis said you actually have, but I mean, look, there's different
can Al
verses. I don't
teleport?
think, yeah, obviously. That's why he's not here tonight. I was giving him shit. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm on it, and he disappeared. Okay. Shit. Now again, I'm jumping back again to the music, but I wanted to ask if you could produce a concert with 3 artists or groups, who would be the opener, the feature, and the headliner of your dream concert, live or dead?
What? That's a good question.
I ask good questions. I am a professional.
All right. Are we doing comedy or music?
Music.
Music.
Fuck comedy. Comedy's boring. Look, I don't even know why we bother with it, honestly. This is all about rap music, baby.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it doesn't have to be rap. It could be anything. You could have a guy out there with a banjo. I don't care.
All right. You're not gonna know probably the people I'm talking about.
Oh,
until
great.
the
That'll be
headliner.
great for the audience. All right,
But
go ahead.
there's a guy, Yves Tumor, who's like cool rock.
He collects change in the street and he plays. he plays a flute, and I walk by him every day when I'm getting my coffee, and I'm like, hey, Chavez, Perro, or whatever the fuck you just said. Here's 25 cents. Play me a tune. He's like, boop, boop, boop,
He does
boop,
look
boop,
like a
boop,
homeless man, and he does play the flute. So you
Does he
know
really
what-
play
yeah,
the
he
flute?
does.
What are the odds I pick a flute of all fucking instruments and the guy plays one?
Yeah,
He literally plays the
that's
flute.
your superpower.
I am psychic,
You're
obviously.
psychic.
Yeah.
And then I would have Griselda be the middle, which is
Sounds like a Disney villain.
it's Griselda. They're named after Griselda Blanco.
I don't know who that is.
That was like the female Pablo Escobar.
Oh,
She
it's a
would,
real villain.
Yeah, and then it's 3 rappers from Buffalo. That's Shamil and I went up to Buffalo for their grand opening of their
Is that the
gallery.
name of their group? Three rappers from Buffalo?
Griselda is the
Oh.
name of their group.
Oh, Griselda, 3 rappers
And then
from
I'd have
Buffalo.
Wu-Tang, all of the original Wu-Tang headlines.
As the
Because
headliner.
I've seen all of Wu-Tang except for ODB.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace, ODB. You've been doing comedy a couple years. We talked about this on your podcast.
Yeah.
What is your dream goal in the world of comedy? What do you want to say? Do you want to have a Netflix special, or do you want to have like the second biggest podcast next to Joe Rogan? You want to be in movies? Just give me one dream goal for your future.
My real dream is to have to make enough money off my podcast or have enough listeners on my podcast, then I can tour small bars around the country.
I got news for you. We're in a small bar right now, the Pub on Park, and you're performing here tonight. You're so close to your dream.
I know.
And we're kind of doing a podcast type thing. You're basically living your dream right now.
Actually, I think about that. Like a year ago, like the people I talked to, like I am kind of living like a dream that I didn't think I was going to be able to. But if I could make money and have enough people to like sell out small bars around the country and then just do my podcast, then that would be dope, and then I can build from there. But
I think that's a nice, realistic goal. You
Yeah.
know, I think you could do that. You seem like a hard-working guy. I think you might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, and I get a good enough amount of listeners now that I feel like I can just I see the goal in sight. It's not like it's too
Keep
far
plugging
away.
away, Sam Buck. I'm sure your
Exactly.
appearance on this amazing show, Beverages with Brad, is gonna jumpstart you into superstardom.
You're a comedic superstar.
Oh, obviously, clearly. So you're going to put together a team. It's you and 4 other people, fictional or real, and you have to defend America from evil robots. It's you and 4 other people, live or dead, fictional or real. Who are your 4 people?
Duke Nukem.
Is that a video game character?
Yeah, an old
Okay.
school, but he could fuck anyone up.
Okay.
Hitler killed a lot of people.
Please tell me. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Holy fuck.
No, I wouldn't.
Please don't pick Hitler, please. I don't want to edit that out. I'm like looking around. I'm like,
I want.
no wonder why Gerby left.
All right.
Gerby was just over here. He's like, fuck this
My
Nazi.
team is gonna be Stalin. It's gonna be Mao. It's gonna be Hitler, and it's gonna be Duke Nukem.
Look, we don't talk about this in advance. I didn't realize. That explains why you said so many rednecks follow you on TikTok. Yeah, it's all starting to come together
That
now.
is, people listening. That is not the team, but I posted a clip.
Tell you
of
what,
my-
you caught me off guard. You know, I'm like, am I interviewing Ellen Fitzgerald all of a sudden? Like, where the fuck did that answer come from?
We were talking
Duke
about this
Nukem,
before.
hit me again. Let's go.
Duke,
Run it back.
You want real?
I want your answers.
All
Let's
right,
go.
none.
This is serious. Fucking robots
All
are
right,
coming,
all
man.
right. Duke Nukem number 1.
Uh-huh.
Elon Musk number 2.
Well, you get some brains in the
Yeah,
operation.
you can't have. He can stop the robots.
Excellent point. Like, he might be on their team.
That could be true. That could be
All right,
true.
Elon Musk, Duke Nukem, and you get 2 more.
Deadpool.
Oh,
Because
that's
he
a
can
good
kill
one.
people and make you laugh.
Yeah, you might as well have some humor, because Elon's kind of boring. You need a little
Exactly, yeah.
personality in there.
Yeah, and then Joe Rogan.
And Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
He has a mean spinning back kick.
Yeah, and he can hunt for us. So
Oh
we stay
yeah, you
fed.
can hunt also. Whenever I listen to him, like, shit, I am fucked when the apocalypse comes, because he's always talking about how, like, when things get bad, you gotta really go out and hunt, and hunting's hard, so you better learn how to hunt. And I'm like, I'm never gonna learn how to hunt, so
Yeah.
I'm fucked, man. I don't think I could kill a squirrel in my yard. I think I'm just fucked.
So
I'll eat Shamil, I can catch him.
I used to shoot squirrels with a BB gun because my
What a
grandparents
dick.
asked me to, because they would eat their flowers.
So who's more fucked up, your mom or your grandparents?
I
Your
think
grandparents want you to shoot poor little, cute little squirrels. You're shooting them.
I think humans
What a
are
monster.
just fucked up people raised by people who are a little bit more fucked up than them.
Yeah,
And then it's
fair
just
enough.
like a long line of we're a little less fucked up than the people who raised us.
Oh, so you think things are getting slightly better over
Yeah,
time? Well, that's an optimistic personality. I don't think I agree
You
with that,
think
but
if you
sure.
had kids, you'd fuck them up even worse than your parents
Well,
fucked you
no,
up?
I just mean the world in general. I don't know. I don't think I'd be a great dad. I don't know. We're gonna pause
At least we
again,
agree
though.
on something.
You mean you're not gonna let us adopt you like we talked about before? Because my wife and I already filled out the paperwork to adopt you.
Is it like $10,000? I'll just take the check and come move in with you.
Tell me 3 of your favorite comedians.
3 of my favorite comedians. Doug Stanhope, I'd say, is probably the best comedian. I really like Doug Stanhope. I'd say Daniel Tosh. I'd say Joe Rogan. I used to really love Doug Benson. Like, that was the first comedian I fell in love with. Which is weird, because not many people like...
I don't know who that is.
He was like a big stoner comedian. And it was before I even smoked
Yeah, you like
weed.
drugs a lot. That's a
I
big
didn't
thing.
smoke weed until I was 18. I didn't do any... I was
How old
pretty
are you now?
straight
You're pretty
edge.
young.
I'm
20.
23.
So
yeah.
you smoke weed. What other drugs are you doing these days?
Mushrooms.
Those are popular, I guess, huh?
Yeah. When we were talking about what made me start my podcast and do all that, DMT made me... It really helped me. I lost a lot of weight.
I don't even know what that is. Is that in mushrooms? I don't know what that...
So
I have enough
DMT
fucking problems. I don't need to be taking TNT and doing mushrooms and shit. I don't fucking need
TNT,
to do any of this.
Drama.
I don't know what that is.
So DMT is
that a separate thing from mushrooms?
Yeah, it's
hallucinogens,
it's
right?
in every single living thing. And it's the thing that's produced when you are born and when you die.
Okay.
Your pineal gland, which is your third eye,
I'm feeling even more dumb now.
produces it when you're born and when you die, and every living thing has it. So you smoke it, and
It's a substance?
Yeah, it's like a powder.
And we have it in our bodies somewhere?
Yeah, in our pineal gland.
What the fuck is a pineal gland?
It's
Man,
our
I feel
third
so
eye. You
dumb.
know, like when you
a
see
third eye? I
Yeah.
thought that's like something in Hinduism or
No,
something.
that's like a real thing. We have a third eye.
We have
It's
a third eye.
It's called the pineal gland, and it's right here.
This all sounds made up. Why don't what does that mean? I thought a third eye is like some kind of mind
It
thing.
is. So the pineal gland is supposed to be like the spiritual eye.
Okay.
And the DMT is released from that because that's...
It's a gland.
Yeah, it's a gland.
You keep pointing to your forehead.
Yeah,
it's in your forehead.
because that's where like the third eye is shown, but it's in your forehead.
See, if I had done drugs, I would know what you're talking about, but I'm getting
And then,
lost. I'm a little too
DMT,
sober for
you
this conversation.
smoke it, and I was only...
So they take shit out of your forehead.
No,
you put it in a
take it out
joint.
of plants and stuff. It's in all
Okay.
living objects.
So
you can
plants
just-
have DMT.
Yeah.
So it's a powder in all living things.
Well,
like a
it's like
frog
a-
has DMT.
Yeah.
And you can just grab, hey, frog, give me some of that shit.
Well,
and he gives
no,
you a little
it's
powder out of
harder
his
than
ass,
that.
and you
It's
smoke
easier
it.
to get out of flowers and plants and
And you
stuff.
smoke it?
Yeah, you have to I don't know the process of how to make it powder from
All right, but okay.
And then you smoke it and you meet the...
And you hallucinate.
You know the voice that you have conversations with in your head?
Yeah, that's usually me saying, Brad, you're such a dumbass.
So you meet
That's the third eye?
Yeah, you meet that voice.
Okay.
And mine told me...
Oh, you meet him. So you talk to yourself.
Yeah, in like a
Awesome.
different realm. And then it tells you what you need to do. And that's when I started my podcast and lost all my weight and got over a breakup.
For all my people watching at home with their kids, this is a clear representation of why not to let them do drugs, because this shit's tripping me out. I don't even know what he's talking about. So, look, if you hate yourself and you want more reminders of how much you hate yourself, you can do this shit. Another you comes out, tells you why you're a dumbass.
No,
it's
it
basically
made
like a
me-
mirror that tells you. Well,
Yeah.
but you're saying in your case, your mirror.
Was happy
You're saying
with
Buck
me.
Part 2 is like, hey man, you're killing it, dude.
Was literally
you're
like,
doing
you
a great
know what
job.
you need to
Mine would
do.
be a dick. I know mine would be a dick. I'm not gonna do drugs, but if I do, I know he's gonna be a son of a bitch. And when he comes out of that powder, when I start smoking that powder out of a plant, it's gonna be an asshole. I know it.
Yeah.
But yours was nice to you.
Mine was super nice to me, and that's really what I felt like.
Are you
put
scared?
me on
Doesn't it
this.
scare you? That scares me. Smoking shit that I'm starting talking to myself and.
Yeah, it was super scary, but I came out of it crying with happiness and knowing what I had to do in life. It's hard to like, if you haven't experienced it, it's hard to
He always
understand.
talks about it too, Joe. I've heard Joe
Yeah, he
Rogan
talks
talk
about
it.
it.
He's like a huge advocate for
Yeah,
it.
it's really, and it makes you just be like, oh, this is what I need to work on.
Okay, so what is the difference between that and the mushrooms?
That you go to the dimension that you are when you're born and when you die.
I don't want to see myself come out of my mom's vagina again. I don't think I want to see
You're-
that.
Unless you've seen your mom's vagina, you're not gonna. See
I will
that.
recognize it.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
I think I'll know if I'm going back to me
You
being
would
born.
recognize your mom's. That's
No,
weird.
but I'm
That's
saying.
weird.
No, I'm saying if it's me being born, who else's vagina
If
was
you
I
saw
coming out of?
50 pictures of vaginas, you could pick your mom's out of that crowd.
No, I'm saying I only came out of one vagina. Waitress walked by at the perfect time. I'm saying, you dick, if I'm coming out of a vagina at my birth, what am I gonna say?
No,
it's probably
no,
somebody
you don't
else.
come
Probably
out of. You go to the realm that.
The realm.
The dimension that you're in before you're born and
I feel like
after
I'm getting
you
high
die.
just being inside this conversation right now.
Yeah, it's
okay,
really weird.
So the mushrooms is not that realm.
The mushrooms.
What
you're
realm
in
do you
this
go
world.
into?
You're here.
Oh, you're still
You
here.
just start realizing
but things turn
more
purple.
You just start realizing. Things start making more sense about how the world works when you're on mushrooms.
Okay, so you're saying they're both good for you.
Yeah.
There's got to be some negative ramifications.
But I don't do any other, like I've never done Adderall, I've never done Xanax, I've never done pills, I've never done Coke, I don't drink heavy.
Just weed, mushrooms, and DMT.
I've only done DMT once.
You made it sound like it's the greatest fucking
You
thing
can
on
only
earth.
do it like once or twice.
And then what
Like,
happens?
It's not the type of, you don't do it a lot. You're supposed to just do it once and realize what you need to do. It's not something that you want to do a lot.
What happened if you did it again?
I mean, my person would probably be like, hey, asshole, why'd you do this again? I told you
You're
what
like,
you needed to
hey,
do.
yeah, like I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah, like I already told you, don't be back here until you have another mission. You know, it's like returning to the guy who gave you the quest before you finish the quest in a video game.
I feel like Sam Buck is Link from Zelda. That's what we're learning. Listen, guys, I am going to try to figure out what Sam just said for the last 8 minutes. I appreciate you watching. Thank you, Sam Buck, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry I didn't cry.
I'll cry right now.
And I appreciate you having me on your show. I got my brother said a very nice thing. He said you guys should have kept going for like 3 hours, Joe Rogan style. I said, wow, I wish the whole world thought we were that interesting. We'd be fucking crushing it. But according to your second personality, we are killing it. I think can I smoke it and have your guy show up and tell me I'm doing awesome? Yeah. Your guy sounds nice.
Yeah, my guy is nice.
I want that guy to come encourage me. Listen. If you're at home doing drugs, be careful. Enjoy the show.
I don't say do any of this. It just helped me.
It helped him. And look, maybe I need it. You know,
But you don't want to be an
neurotic.
open mic comedian who talks to rappers over Zoom.
No, me or them.
Anyone.
They might. I don't like Zoom. I'd rather talk to the rapper in person and
Get shanked.
get shanked. That's why I'd rather take that risk. I thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the Golden Mike channel. Click the little notification bell. Sam Buck, do you have any final words?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Make sure to listen to Brad on the Bucked Up Podcast, where you can get wherever you
please.
find podcasts, YouTube, and I really appreciate us. Can
Thank
we have
you.
a cheers for
Cheers,
beverages?
cheers, my friend. Thank you.
Cheers.
That'll do it. Thank you.